I used to think the hardest part of life was knowing what you wanted. I was wrong. The hardest part is realizing you already had it, and you just didn't see it in time. My name is Frank. I'm 85 years old, and it took me more than 4 decades to understand something I'm going to tell you right now, while there's still time for you to do something about it. I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania, the kind of place where everyone knew your name and your business. My father worked at the steel mill. My mother kept the house. I had 2 brothers, both older, both tougher than me. I was the quiet one, the one who always had his nose in a book or his head somewhere else. My father used to say I thought too much. He wasn't wrong. When I was 17, I met a girl named Catherine at the county fair. She had dark hair and green eyes and a laugh that made you feel like you were the only person in the world. We started dating that summer. She worked at her family's bakery. I'd stop by after school just to see her, even though I didn't have money for bread most days. She'd sneak me a roll anyway, still warm, and we'd talk about everything. She wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to get out of that town and see the world. I told her I was going to do something important, something that mattered. She just smiled and said she believed me. We got married when I was 21. Catherine was 19. Everyone said we were too young, but we didn't care. I got a job at an accounting firm in Pittsburgh. It wasn't glamorous, but it was steady. Catherine got pregnant within the year. Our daughter Mary was born in the spring. I remember holding her for the first time and thinking that this was it. This was what mattered. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I still thought there was something else out there, something bigger I was supposed to do. The years went by fast. I worked long hours because I wanted to provide, because I wanted to prove something. Catherine stayed home with Mary, and then with our son Thomas, who came along 3 years later. I'd leave before the kids woke up and come home after they'd gone to bed. On weekends I was tired. I told myself I was doing it for them, that one day it would all pay off and we'd have everything we wanted. Catherine never complained, but I could see it in her eyes sometimes. She was lonely. I told myself I'd make it up to her later, when things slowed down. But things never slowed down. I got promoted. We moved to a bigger house. The kids grew up. Mary went to college, then Thomas. Catherine and I had the house to ourselves again, and I thought that would be our time, the time I'd been promising her. But by then I didn't know how to talk to her anymore. We'd become strangers living in the same house. I'd spent so many years chasing something I couldn't even name, that I'd forgotten how to just sit with her and be present. She'd ask me about my day, and I'd give her 3 words and go back to my newspaper. She stopped asking after a while. When I was 53, Catherine got sick. It started with headaches she didn't tell me about. By the time she finally went to the doctor, it was late-stage cancer. They gave her 6 months. She lived for 8. I took time off work to be with her, finally, but it felt like I was 40 years too late. I'd sit by her bed and hold her hand, and I'd think about all the nights I came home too tired to talk, all the weekends I said I was too busy, all the moments I let slip by, because I thought there would always be more time. One night near the end, she looked at me and said, "Frank, you were always looking for something out there, but it was right here. It was always right here." She wasn't angry when she said it. She was just sad. And that was worse. She died on a Tuesday morning in October. The leaves were turning. I remember that. I remember thinking how beautiful it was outside, and how she would have loved to see it, and how I never took her on the trips she wanted to go on, because I was always too busy, always waiting for the right time. After she was gone, I kept working. I didn't know what else to do, but the work didn't mean anything anymore. It never really had. I'd spent 40 years building a career, climbing a ladder I didn't even want to be on. And for what? A bigger house, a title on a door. None of it mattered. None of it filled the hole she left. I retired when I was 67. By then, Mary had 2 kids of her own. Thomas was living across the country. I barely knew my grandchildren. I'd missed so much of their lives the same way I missed so much of my own kids' lives. I thought about Catherine's words all the time. It was right here. It was always right here.
I started trying to make up for it. I called Mary more. I visited Thomas. I flew out to see the grandkids and actually spent time with them. Got down on the floor and played with their toys, read them stories, listened to them talk about school and friends and all the little things I never made time for with my own children. And it was good. It was really good. But it didn't erase the regret. Nothing could. I'm 85 now. I live alone in a small apartment. My body doesn't work the way it used to, but my mind is still sharp enough to remember everything. And I think about Catherine every single day. I think about the life we could have had if I'd just paid attention, if I'd just been there, really there, instead of always looking past her toward some invisible finish line that didn't exist. Here's what I want to tell you, and I mean this with everything I have left. The thing you're chasing, whatever it is, it's not out there. It's not in the promotion, or the bigger house, or the accomplishment you think will finally make you feel like you've made it. It's in the people who are sitting across from you at dinner. It's in the quiet moments you think are too ordinary to matter. It's in the sound of your kid laughing, or your partner asking about your day, or the feeling of just being home with nothing to prove. I thought I was building something. I thought I was working toward a future where everything would come together. But the future kept moving. It was always just out of reach. And by the time I realized that the present was all I ever really had, most of it was gone. You can't get time back. You can't go back and have the conversations you didn't have, or take the trips you didn't take, or just sit on the couch and do nothing with the person you love. Once it's gone, and you'll spend the rest of your life wishing you'd understood that sooner. I'm not telling you to quit your job or stop working hard. I'm telling you to know what you're working for. I'm telling you to look at the people in your life and ask yourself if they know how much they matter to you. I'm telling you to stop waiting for someday, because someday doesn't come. There's only today, and then there's yesterday, and you don't get to choose which one you end up living in. If I could go back, I'd do it all differently. I'd come home early. I'd ask Catherine about her day, and actually listen. I'd take her dancing even though I hated dancing. I'd go to every one of Mary's school plays and every one of Thomas's baseball games. I'd be present. I'd be there, not physically but really there, with my whole heart. But I can't go back. So I'm telling you now, while you still can, don't wait 40 years to figure out what matters. Don't let the people you love become ghosts before they're gone. Don't trade the life you have for the life you think you're supposed to want. Catherine was right. It was always right here. And I missed it. Don't miss yours.